My research interest is mostly about social network and social interaction between agents. So I'm interested in how people and firms interact with each other and how this has impact on the economy. So basically, there is a lot of paper trying to understand how people social interact with each other. So we want to understand how much you are impacted by your environment, what we call peers. It's very important to do policies. So for example, if you want to understand crime, you want to understand how many of your neighbor, your friends are themselves criminal. If you want to understand education, you want to understand how many of your classmates are also doing well at school. So that's the idea. But most of the people assume that we are all affected by the average of the outcome of your friends. So you think that I'm going to look at crime, I'm going to look the percentage of criminals in your neighborhood who commit crime. But in the real world, you don't interact with everybody. You interact with some people, some other people are not that important for you. And so I was looking at just develop a model. We try to understand this idea and then test with American data for the US. And what we see is that in many activities, you don't care too much about the average, but on different people of the social norm. For example, think about education. We look at test score. And what we show is that people care only about the highest achiever among your group, for example. And for example, in risky behavior, you care about the less risky person in your group. So this has very important implication for policy. So before, people were saying, well, we don't know very much, let's try the average, let's try the max or the mean or whatever, but they don't have a general methodology. So what I propose here is to have a general methodology so that in any data set you have, you can test which peers matter the most. So it's a nice way of doing that, and then you can do the policy application based on science rather than guessing. We went to the police in the UK and we say, how do you combat crime in the UK? And the police tell us, well, we go to area where there's a lot of crime and we're putting all the police there. Then we say, well, but then you are missing one point, is diffusion of crime. It's not only high area which you have crime, but you know, if you have a lot of diffusion, you want to stop it. So we calculate our own measure, and we show that the district we want to target are not the same. Why? Because in our district, not only you take care about the crime, but also a lot of criminals commit crime outside of the area. And so if you stop them, the crime will not spread. And so what we show, I mean, concretely, we show that if they adopt our policy, doing exactly the same reducing crimes, they're going to save £220 million per year. That's a lot of money, and they could do a lot of research for that. So again, this idea is about if you don't have a model and you don't target some area, the effect is going to be very, very diffuse about that. I've been working on this area for many, many years, and I always had the idea that, well, why people impose this social norm? I mean, in the real world, I was looking at, you know, just watching movies and reading newspapers and, you know, popular press, and you see that often you speak about in crime, the gang leader is important. In education, some of the smart guy are important. So I say, why are we imposing this assumption, ad hoc assumption that the average matter? Why can we not have a general model? But it took me time, like many years, to find the right model with the right estimation to come up with. But yeah, I think by what I do a lot is I read a lot of popular writings, and I read a lot of sociology, where there's a lot of ideas there, and I try to put a science approach in their approach. So I read a lot, and that's one way to come up with. And you know, every day is experience also, talking to people.